is the part 2 of the inaugural session. Theme is obviously enabling public healthcare with emerging technologies. In the inaugural session, we have heard that how different perspectives have come together from the government, from the diplomats, from the healthcare practitioners, and here also we have eminent guests with us for this session. Dr. Deepa Malik doesn't need any introduction. She has been an inspiration to many of us. Padma Shri, Khel Ratna, Arjuna Awardee. We'll hear from her about her thoughts of transforming healthcare. I'm sure she will inspire all of us with her talk. Will motivate all of us for a talk. We are also joined by Dr. Sonia Trikha, Director General Health Services, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Haryana. We are also joined by Professor Ajai Singh, Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Bhopal. And we are also joined by Dr. K. Madan Gopal, Advisor, PHA, NHSRC, Minister of Health and Family Welfare, and the former Senior Consultant of NITI Aayog. So without taking much time, I request Dr. Deepa Malik to share her thoughts on how we can inspire people and everybody around us. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskar. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and this opportunity. I think more than motivation, this session is more about gratitude. Gratitude to the community who takes care of people like us holistically, whether it is a hospitalization, whether it is rehabilitation, whether it is diagnosis, whether it is radiology and assistive aids, whether it is the data science backups. I think what a beneficiary can become with these facilities, I am a live example of that. And how whatever passionate work you all are doing in healthcare sector can impact a life, change a life, make a life fruitful for someone to live and live happily. Even very important to use the word happily because mental well-being is an equal part of it when more than half your life has been in and out of hospitals. I was first diagnosed with weakness in my lower limbs when I was barely 5 years old. Parents saw otherwise a very peppy and very chirpy girl now sticking to bed and not moving out. And that's when it was alarming. And I'm very proud of my late father that even in 1974-75, the first thing he did was take me to a child psychologist. Even today, mental health is a big question and people generally don't either declare or want to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist because they have inhibitions and there are taboos around it. But he took me there only because one of the neighbors commented that finally your girl is behaving like a girl. She's not seen kicking the football and pushing the boys over cycles. And she's sitting inside the house and painting and playing with dolls. This worried my father. And he says, this psychological pressure is not what we want our child to be under. And I don't want to give genders to toys, colors, etc. So thank God that my father identified that and took me to a doctor at the right time and the right intervention. And then they said, no, psychologically the child is not depressed, but definitely physiologically something is wrong with her. And I was then taken to various hospitals. Now, when I say various hospitals, he took me to PGI Chandigarh, he took me to Hinduja, Mumbai, he took me to Vellore, he brought me to Gangaram Hospital in Bikaner. I mean, wherever he thought he had an access, just being a middle-class army officer with limited resources and limited leave on his hand. But the journey of moving from one hospital to the other hospital was because diagnosis was not coming out. There was no clarity which was there that why she is losing power in her lower limbs. Because the facility of the diagnosis and the technology that time was barely an X-ray or a blood test. A blood test wasn't showing any alarming changes. An X-ray was not showing any deformities in the bone. And this is how then I was finally taken to Pune Command Hospital and treated for tuberculosis for a while. And then they said, no, it is not tuberculosis because my spinal fluid was not showing any infection after lumbar punctures. I was treated for meningitis for a while. Till a doctor, young doctor with young technology and a mind, came up and said, no, let us try and inject a dye and do a myelogram X-ray on her. Because there was no three-dimensional assistive aids available those days. And that is how I remember very clear and vivid picture in my mind that the dye was injected, some lumbar punctures were done. I was tied to a bed and the bed was rotated 360 degree in all angles while the X-ray was taken. And that is how they discovered tumors in my spinal cord, followed by surgeries, rehabilitation, and I recovered. Only to have my first child, my daughter, meet with an accident with a head injury, get hemiplegia, and again get back to hospital. And this time, fortunately for us, we had MRIs, CT scans. In 20 years apart, I again was in hospitals, in and out of hospitals. And within 6 years of that accident and my daughter getting hemiplegia, my tumors came back. And this time it was easy to find out what diagnosis was, and that was that the tumors are back growing within my spinal cord. And it was a redo surgery, but again, thanks to the robotic surgery available and better sciences available, I had a 20-hour surgery which got into complications. I had cerebral fluid leakage. I was put on ventilator for 3 weeks till the time the body was strong to be operated all over again. There was a patching done on the spinal column. So what I'm saying here is that I'm somebody who has experienced hospitals in and out, whether in my life, whether you call it tests, MRIs, you call it rehabilitation, you call it assistive aid, and coming from a community which is a community of persons with disabilities, you know, you're always termed as a patient because you sit on a wheelchair. And one had to really work hard to erase that identity. But that doesn't take away the fact that if people like you were not present, if discussions like these were not present, if policies were not made in the right direction for research, I probably would have not been alive today. With the policies including 21 disabilities rather than 7 as compared to earlier, with the ongoing progress in the technology. And let me also share about the digital technology which has happened in my life. I joined the world of sports very late in life. I started playing at the age of 36 years as a swimmer, moving on to becoming an athlete at the age of 40, winning my Arjuna award at 42, going on to win my second consecutive Asian medal at the age of 44, winning a Paralympic medal, becoming the first woman in the country at the age of 46 years, and again winning the third consecutive Asian medal with a new Asian record at the age of 48 years. This has been a continuous journey and wouldn't have been possible with continuous support from the doctors and the physiotherapists, because I have undergone changes in my body, in my physiology. I've undergone menopause while I was preparing for my games. So there has been an ongoing journey which has been very difficult. But and in one of the times when I had traveled abroad and I was taken in for my dope test, fortunately for me, I had my reports, my certificates, my results, my medications by registered doctors on the email, which probably is one of the versions of securing data digitally. And it came in handy, otherwise I probably would have been removed from the competition in want of my medical papers. So that is where we see that how important it is also to have the digital revolution within the medical sciences. And as an end user, it becomes very, very useful to us. We as an NGO, Wheeling Happiness, we partner a lot in healthcare because healthcare is a lifestyle for people like us who live in disability. And I, from this platform, want to make an appeal to everybody involved here to try and make the medical technology affordable, because the wheelchair that I sit on, the prosthetics that we get for athletes to use or to play with, or any assistive aid, it should be affordable. So I make a plea to all of you to try and create policies, to try and create technologies which makes these gadgets affordable for every person, to give them an equal opportunity to rise above their disabilities and become an important part of nation building. Because unless it is affordable, unless it is reached to every nook and corner of every section of society, we probably will not be having a holistic approach to healthcare and wellness for all. And I think our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's basic tagline, which he works, his motto is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So an inclusive approach is what I feel. I know the exchange of knowledge is important. For example, when I go for my mammography, it is very difficult to have my breast pressed in that machine. So maybe gadgets that are more inclusive in approach, they have more, they're designed in a way that a person, I remember now things have changed, but when in my chest below paralyzed body with spastic paraplegia, when I used to be placed on a hard wooden plank for an X-ray, my body would get into spasm because the hardness which would rub against the body and the joints or the heels when were rested on it, it would jump and the body wouldn't stay stable. So I think these are the things which I want to bring forth. And once again, I would like to say that yes, life has been tough in this body. I don't have sensation, I don't have bladder bowel, I have total break of spinal cord, I have kyphotic deformity, I have laminectomy on 7 vertebrae, I have consistent MRIs and at times precautionary radiations for tumors to not come back. It has not been a very smooth journey, and even bringing up my daughter sitting on a wheelchair, a child who has hemiplegia, it's been a tough journey, but nothing would have been possible if a community like yours was not existing. So 3 cheers to all of you who are part of the healthcare system. And yes, when I was invited here, Sangamitra, my very dear friend, she called, she says, Deepa, will you come there? Will you speak a few words? We are in middle of filing our entries for the Asian Para Games, and as president of Paralympic Committee of India, I was very busy. But I said, this is one place that I will definitely come and greet everyone and express my gratitude, because I think being here today in this room will be my biggest insurance policy, because I will know a doctor in a hospital in every corner of the country. So I am ensuring my old age in very safe hands, because I am one person who will need doctors, who will need hospitals till my last breath. So thank you for this opportunity, and I hope I create friendships here, which is going to serve my life in a positive way in future. God bless you. Thank you. And cheers to all of you once again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepa Malik, Padma Shri, Khel Ratna and Arjuna Awardee. Yes, life has been tough on you, especially on your body, as you have said. But the success which you have seen from your late 30s till now, it's remarkable. Can you have a big round of applause for her? Come on. She is a story of inspiration. Her story can inspire many. There will be challenges in life, but you have to have that zeal to overcome those challenges. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepa Malik, for being with us. So and a very important point you have raised, that can we all come together to ensure that medical technology, medical equipments are affordable, accessible. And I think at that point of time, the policy making bodies have to think about that. And I'm sure, because we are coming up with the event report of this event, which will circulate with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, NITI Aayog, and all the state healthcare departments, I'm sure this point will be raised there and some actions can be taken on that suggestion. Thank you so much.